Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here with Ferocia alongside. We're going on to the Elimination match. That's right, we've renamed this match. It's no longer the Losers match, it's the Elimination match. And it is going to be Bisu and C, the two scrubs of this group. That's right, Bisu and C are the two scrubs. That's how good this group is, the group of death. Jaedong and Flash just met in the winners match. Jaedong advancing with some spectacular play, absolutely spectacular. And Flash is going on to the final match where he will play the winner of this game, Bisu and C. It is going to be on, what is this map? This is going to be on Circuit Breaker as well. So this should be really good. Bisu and C, two of the better players ever. C with his very well-renowned problems in Star League play. Will he be able to shed that here today? And the game is starting. Here we got the player list, and we're going to hit accept right now. So there's our timestamp, our marker for myself when we're rendering, and I'm going to hand it over to Barosh, let him give you his thoughts on the game.
I think my thoughts are, if C has a chance to win any of the games in this group, it's going to be this game. He's only 2-4 against Bisu, and he's actually beaten Bisu twice in the MSL, in the big file MSL, which I think was 3 MSLs ago. I'm not really good at keeping track. He actually 2-0'd Bisu, and he actually got decently far in that MSL. C's never really had any great Star League performances. That was probably one of his best, but he actually beat Bisu twice. So I think if he did it twice in a Star League, he can do it again. And it should also be noted that these guys are both in the same clan. That before they became pro gamers, they practiced together on BattleNet, and they're both from the Shield clan. And they're pretty much the only two good players to come out of the Shield clan. We were just talking about this a moment ago, that they're kind of the two players holding it down for Shield, because everyone else out of Shield kind of sucks. And I'm really looking forward to this game because I think that C has a decent shot. I know we were just saying that, oh, you know, Bisu's going to be in the final match, but we could see C in the final match, and C probably wouldn't have as good of a chance against Flash as Bisu, but miracles do happen, and still I want to rub it in the face of all the nerds. If C makes it out of this group, I want it to happen so badly.
I have no idea where that came from, Varosh. But I'm just gonna let that slide because I don't even want to talk about you wanting to tap C. That's a little beyond my
Wait, that's not at all what I said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said I want C to win so I can rub it in the face of the nerds so badly. What did you think I said?
You know, I thought I heard something totally different. That's really bad. All right, so let's forget what I thought I heard and look at the game. Let's just drop it. Let's drop it, bro. Don't even worry about it. And the game, if we look at it, looks like it's going to be pretty standard here for both of them with the Gateway Core Assimilator and the Proxy Pylon. Kind of proxy. He doesn't really know where C is, so it is kind of proxy. Could be hidden tech, could be hidden DT tech, or hidden Robo Reaver, something along those lines. Or it could even be a ploy where C comes into Bisu's base, doesn't see a pylon that's missing, and gets like really worried when there's really nothing coming his way. So those are the options of what that pylon could be. We do have the 1 Rex into CC from C going on right now. And oh, you know what? The story from the first set of how C got put into this group, or how this group even got made, because I think we may actually have a moment, maybe 30 seconds for me to tell the story of what happened during the group selection ceremony, because I think everyone's pretty shocked overall as to how TBL, or I guess it would be TLS, actually ended up into the same group. And people were looking at it and saying that none of the 4 of them, Stork, Bisu, Jaedong, and Flash, had really advanced very far in the last MSL, so they could actually be put into each other's groups, and during the group selection they could move into each other. So they could get any 3 of the 4, because I believe it was Stork and Flash couldn't get moved, or Stork and Jaedong couldn't get moved. And so they were talking about it possibly occurring, and then they were asking all the pro gamers what they would do, or how they thought if someone actually decided to do that. So most of them were just like, oh, it would be cool, oh, who knows, whatever, let's see, whatever they want to do. And then C started talking about, oh, it would be so awesome if they did that, because that would give everyone else a chance that wasn't in that group to get out. So Hydra and Great and like the commentators started like kind of picking on him for it. And they were kind of ragging on him, but what if you're the other person in that group? What if you're the other person in that group? And they started asking him, hey, what will you do to not be put in that group? Hydra and Great started giving him a hard time. And finally, they harassed him so much. Every single time they did a switch into that group as they were making this, they would ask C what he wanted to be, or what he would do in order to get out of it. He was talking about bribing them and all kinds of different things. Nothing would do, and finally C just throws up his hands. He's like, "Fine, put me in that group. Put me in that group. I'll get out. Just watch. Just watch. I'll find a way to get out." So I thought that was really funny how Hydra and Great kind of bullied the older player C into actually getting into this group and stuck him in here. And so that's how the group got made. It was a possibility. Everyone talked about it, and then C got put in there because, well, apparently everyone thought it was hilarious.
And in an alternate storyline, I remember GG Amo was actually really wanted to be in the group. He's like, "I want to play against Jaedong, please put me against Jaedong." Bisu, by the way, doing some nice pressure. He's got his range upgrade on the Dragoons, and he's just dealing some damage to the bunker, forcing SCVs off the line, spending money repairing, which is nice. GG Amo was calling out Jaedong, which pretty much nobody was paying any attention to that because GGM was kind of terrible, and he's like not even in the same class as Jaedong, so no one really cared. But then Tyson started talking trash about Ruby, so GGM had to defend his commanding officer's honor, so that didn't happen. So we got C in this group instead, and I think that's kind of tragic because C's a lot better player than GG Amo. It'd be nicer if we had more of a sacrificial lamb to go out fourth in this group, but instead we have a really good player C, and C being forced to pull so many SCVs off the line to repair this. This is pretty standard for this build, but his tank seems a little bit late to me for some reason. Now there it comes out just fine, so he's going to be able to repel this, but I think he's going to wait until siege mode, just be super careful, doesn't want that tank to be picked off, especially against 4 Dragoons. And meanwhile, Bisu, we see, is going for that early robotics facility. Siege mode is up, and Bisu's not backing off his... Okay, backs it off just before the second shot can come off. That was actually really good timing by Bisu.
And look at that, 4 gates for Bisu, so he's going to be macroing up pretty quickly here. We're not seeing a whole lot of tech coming out of him. No Citadel yet, so we just got the Robo and the Observatory, so he's going to be macroing up probably straight-up goons out of a lot of these gateways. He's also
Can we
taking
see a
his third
Bulldog?
base at the middle only. A Bulldog? It's possible. It would be a little bit late for a Bulldog, but you could still see that with the with 4 Zealots dropped in there, maybe pushed in there if you've got some added Zealots to maybe try and put some pressure on the front. It's possible. It's a little bit more difficult this late, but it's possible. But I don't know. I wouldn't expect it coming out of this position. I think Bisu's would be more likely to sit back and use it. If he does get a shuttle, would be more likely to use it for Zealot bombs against a push more than anything else. But a Bulldog would be a possibility if he really wanted to.
Alright, I'm sorry about that. For some reason, I saw the robotics facility but missed the observatory, so I thought the only logical explanation would that it would have to be a Bulldog. But of course, it's just for some observers, and we're seeing him go for a Citadel now, so he's going to get some Zealot legs to be able to deal with those tanks a little bit more effectively. And a pretty early starport coming out for C, so we're probably going to see some dropship play from him, and that proxy pylon that Bisu made is going to help scout for the drop, so if C tries to go the long ways around, and we saw him do that in the first game versus Flash, and I actually think that's something that came more from the StarCraft 2 metagame retroactively into StarCraft 1. It's a really popular thing to do in SC2, and I think some of these pro gamers are saying that's a good idea. It's worth a pylon just to scout for some drops. So yeah, he's got another proxy pylon at the 9 o'clock, and he's going to know if, regardless of what direction C comes in, Bisu's going to have a really good chance of spotting that, so that's going to be pretty sweet from him.
Yeah, we do have the control tower getting up there, but, you know, I mean, pylons have been placed at weird positions for Protoss forever. I remember one of the, maybe just a year ago, on Heartbreak Ridge was one of the most popular maps where you saw time and time again Protoss would just place pylons all over the place because it was such an odd-looking map. So you'd see pylons all over the place for scouting information. I don't think it's anything too new coming out of StarCraft 2 or anything, but I mean, if you did see it in StarCraft 2, you could definitely see how it would come in here. And we do have Arbiter play coming from Bisu. We saw the Template Archives and Stargate coming up at the same time, always the indicator that it's going to be a Arbiter build. Saw a scan going off there from Mr. C as well, looking for an observer, but there wasn't any there, so it was kind of a wasted scan. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite. Well, no, it's going to be too long until Arbiters come, so it won't end up being influential, but it could have been if it was a little later. And we do have a couple vultures getting in here trying to pick off some probes. Look like they'll get 2 probes, so they get there, provided they planted mines, which I haven't really seen a lot of mines yet from from C. And I'm just going to throw it out there that I think that all of the best Terrans, all of the best TV peers have amazing vultures and mines. Virtually every single game that a Terran plays really well against a Protoss, it's the vultures and the mines that end up being a huge part of the game. And I honestly never understand when why a Terran player doesn't go for vulture harass. It never makes any sense to me. It's basically always a good idea, because if it works, it can really really set you really far ahead. It's just so powerful when it works. So I really would be surprised to see once again not go for some heavy vulture harass.
Alright, just a moment ago we saw a really nice snipe of the Observer by C, chasing that down with his vessel as hard as he could. Bisu is going for some Arbiters in this game, and he's doing a nice, like, blockade. He's got a nice blockade at his 4th base over at the 9 o'clock, so it's going to be almost impossible for vultures to get into that base. But he's also got he's got his natural expansion actually mostly walled off, so he's apparently really worried about C's vulture harassment. And meanwhile, C is taking a 3rd at the at his mineral only, and that's about to go up, but Bisu healthily mining off of 4 bases, so doing just fine in this game. When I saw him almost finish that pylon blockade, I thought, oh no, he's going carriers again, this is going to be terrible. But no, he is playing standard, just deciding to choke that off out of fear of vultures, and right now he's doing a lot of really good mine clearing, and maybe C wasn't totally up on his mines. We've seen kind of very few mines out across this map. And Bisu's actually being really proactive in marauding around and dealing with all of these mines. He does not want C to have any vision around the map, any map control, and it looks like something's going on at the top left from the looks of the mini-map. Oh, it's just a proxy pylon and maybe some mines at the top left. Oh, and a vulture is going to get picked off. But anyways, Bisu's getting all of his upgrades up. He's got a forge going. He's already got +1. He's got +2 going now. And finally, it looks like C is electing to push out. And Bisu's got most of his forces up at the top left. So this could be setting C up to get flanked, or it could be setting C up to deal some damage before Bisu can actually react to this and get back in time.
Yeah, and here comes actually engagement. Look at the tanks actually standing up there. They've actually taken that ramp for free. That's usually one of the defensive points that a Protoss can really use, is that ramp that comes up right in front of that 3rd. But he wasn't able to because he didn't see this coming, did not have forces in place. So Bisu actually kind of in a disadvantageous position here. But he has brought some forces in, has a lot of zealots in there, and probably has some zealot bombs waiting as well. So here it comes. Here they go in. AMP going off on a lot of units as well. Huge
Oh my God.
Over those vultures. All of those vultures died to their own mines. So those mines coming back to bite him in the butt, and this game could end quickly with Bisu wiping the floor with C's army. Absolutely destroyed that army. Not even close. The zealots are still alive. They're still zealots alive, folks. That's how much he destroyed that army, pushing in there straight in with dragoons. This could end up working or being really bad if he pushes for too long and those tanks get too many shots off. Looks like he got one tank left, and another mine goes off picking up some more vultures and dragoons, but finally Bisu have to pull back because those tanks were just able to do so much damage to those dragoons. He lost like another 7 or 8 dragoons right there on that ramp, trying to go for the counter push Bisu did. But Bisu saves that base and did just a huge amount of damage there to the forces, the tank count of C. And vultures coming in here at the top left looking to do some harassment. There are a lot of cannons in play. 3 cannons as well as the gateway coming in, so he'll probably get some token units there as well. We have another command center coming into play for C, so he's going to be looking to take a 4th base as well. Bisu will be on 5 bases now, and probably can take a 6th at the top left whenever his natural whatever, his main gets mined out, so he can do another main art. It's just a timing of whenever that becomes important. But he's basically set for as much money as he needs. He can basically macro up whatever force he wants now, and he's going to get a lot of arbs out, going to get a lot of zealots. You saw those, and he's going to get start pumping some dragoons as well. Would not be surprised at all to see a big burst of High Templar as well. So a lot of options here for Bisu as we move on, because he's got all of that gas to spend on.
I think what Bisu's going to do is just make about 25 to 30 gateways and and he's just got such a great economy, and C's lost so many units in that push that he's not going to be able to do anything to stop Bisu from getting maxed and then building up a giant force of gateways. And I think Bisu's probably going to be able to win this game pretty easily from here, but it's not C's fault almost. Bisu just got one of the top 10 best Vulture or Zealot bombs I've ever seen, and that totally turned the tide of the game because it was almost even. It was really, really close, really exciting, and just like that, it's switching to Bisu's favor. And a good stasis getting four tanks, and all those vultures actually behind the tanks and not doing anything to block Zealots from getting right into the tanks. Now all the tanks that are not stasis except for one are dead, and more vultures coming in behind the tanks, which is not exactly where you want them per se, and this is not looking very good for C. Bisu expanding another time. C actually trying to get two. He's double expoing. I think he's expecting at least one of those expos to get scouted and picked off, but just in all desperation, just hoping to let one of those go up so he can have a fighting chance in this game, but it does not look like it's going to happen for him. And Bisu just pushing forward into the middle of the map, clearing out all the mines for C, and C's producing mostly vultures now. We see almost no tanks out on the map for him. He's probably building those up at home, but the top right does get discovered, so it's only the 3 o'clock that C's pretty much resting his hope in the game on.
I mean, the only real hope that C has is he needs some incredible EMPs on these arbiters, because if those arbiters come in again and get 3 or 4 stasis on, it's over. There aren't enough tanks for him to absorb 2 or 3 stasis, and we haven't seen I mean, there was one good EMP I saw, but the other ones have been kind of average at best, and he did get that one big stasis off in the last battle. It looks like that science facility actually goes down as well, so if he doesn't have any science fossils, he's got one. He needs to get a good EMP off. This could be really problematic. He does get it off that gets stasis in return as well as a tank, so that's a little bit of a trade going on there, and some Zealots going in for a pseudo backdoor coming in from the side, and they're going to engage some tanks as well. Bisu coming in here for a big attack at the third base of C, and it looks like he's going to be able to do a whole lot of damage here. It looks like another Arbiter came in from the backside with another token force and actually stasis some more units over there. So stasis, Arbiters all over the place, Zealots and Dragoons swarming, and this is going to be just about it. This should be the swan call, the swan song for C. He's got some more tanks coming to reinforce, and they may be able to hold him out, but Zealot reinforcements, if they come, should be able to clean it up, and we see this group coming out of stasis. That's going to get slaughtered, and C really struggling right now. It looks like he might be able to get the third 3 o'clock base up, which would be helpful, but Bisu is working off of 5 base right now and is working on getting a second round of gateway production, and I think he's probably on something like 15 gateways plus right now, so huge amount of production for Bisu, and he's just going to be able to start going like Sauron Protoss on C very shortly. If that 3 o'clock gets scouted and taken out, that will definitely be game.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that C's still in this, but this is his MSL fate on the line, and he does have that 9 o'clock. It never did get taken out by Bisu, and now trying to take the 6 o'clock for a second time. Oh, but here comes an Observer to scout the 9 o'clock, and he's got Observer speed upgrade, just by the way. He's got so much money, he can get basically any upgrade he wants, you know, scout sight range, just whatever he feels like, and all those SCVs getting destroyed as they try to evacuate too, and that 9 o'clock is going to get taken out. And now his 6 o'clock is kind of what he's hinging his life in this game on. And if that gets taken out, then I can't really see continuing in this game. And wow, that one Zealot managed to clear every single mine that was protecting that 6 o'clock from Bisu's position. So now Bisu's going to be able to stream Zealots and Dragoons straight into that. And I think he's just like setting his rally point close to there and just A-moving them as they come in. He's maxed right now, and he's got like 30 well, not 30, but I actually do think, without exaggeration, he has 20 gateways at this point. So this is looking awesome for Bisu. Great stasises, and he has so many stasises too. That's a pretty sizable Terran army that's just encased in those beautiful blue crystals right now, and it looks like the mineral only at the bottom right is going to get taken out. That's actually pretty close to being mined out. The main is mined out, the natural expansion is mined out, and C's barely mining it all. There's GG. C is out of the MSL, and Bisu is moving on to the final match. What are your opinions of that game, Deja Vu?
I think we saw in that Flash versus Jaedong game, Jaedong utter domination. I think this one is Bisu complete domination. C did have that one good push at the bottom of the map, and that Zealot bomb just trashed it. That was absolutely incredible. That was actually a really well timed push by C while the forces were at the top. While there was there's a big blob of force at the top for Bisu, and that Zealot bomb just completely negated all of that. And yeah, that was, and from that point on, it was just Arbiter stasis, and can't beat that.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like, a misplaced mine doesn't sound like it should completely turn the tide of a game and take you out of the MSL. Like, oh, I forgot to put my army on A move, it was just on regular move, so I lost. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than, oh, I lost my entire army because a mine was, like, slightly too close. That's just kind of tragic for C. I barely even think that was his fault. That was just a really good Zealot bomb, and kind of a lucky Zealot bomb from Bisu. So, anyways, Bisu taking that match. We're going to go into the final match right now. Thank you guys for watching this game, and we'll see you in the final match. GG.